Ahmedu. Okay? Okay, you with me now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we have two reasons why we make something marfu. Just by default, or we say because it begins, or because it's the cause, it comes after the verb. Right? It's the one who initiates that action in the verb, in the verbal sentence. Okay? So those two reasons right there. Okay? Now, let's finish the rest of the sentence here. I'll make-believe sentence here. He read Ahmed, or he read Ahmed the book. What's the word for the book in Arabic?
Al-Kitab.
Al-Kitab. I'm going to write this right here. Al-Kitab. Okay? Now, we just pulled that out of the gate, right? Right? So, what should I put here?
Marfu.
Marfu, right? Now, but we have a problem. We have a problem. If we say Qara'a Ahmedu, in Arabic, the Dhamma tells us, the listener, that this who did it. Let me go to Mr. Ali's favorite word. Daraba. Daraba Ahmedu Bilalun. You see? Daraba. Everybody know what daraba means?
To hit.
To hit. Daraba Ahmedu Bilalun. Hit Ahmed Bilal. We want to say, right? That's what we have. Daraba, Ahmedu, right? Daraba is our verb. So we brought Ahmedu. Ahmedu, we're saying is the cause. So that the Iraq should be marfu. And then we said Bilal. If we just bring it out, because we just bringing our word out now, right? And so by default, it should be marfu, right, Habiba? Right? But what you have to ask yourself is, now we have to apply logic, common sense now. If we bring Bilal out of the gate, in Arabic, Dhamma or Raf means it tells us after we hear a verb that that's who did it. Daraba Ahmedu Bilal. If we leave Dhamma, we see Dhamma, we know who did the hitting. So we're saying, are we trying to say Ahmed and Bilal did this action? Is that what we want to try? Do you think that's what we're implying?
No, we want to say one hit the other.
Exactly. So we need to, there's a distinction now. So I can't keep Dhamma now. We can't keep the Dhamma now. We can't keep that. So we have to do something so that way the person listening or who's reading that text know there's a difference now between one and the other, because they're not the same. If we were to say both of them did that, then we would have used the particle wa. Then both of them sharing doing that. Then we could say Ahmed and Bilal hit. But that's not what we want to say. We want to say that Ali, right, was aggressive, right, was brutal, was being, not a nice person at this time. Okay, he ain't sharing nothing with Bilal. Bilal, unfortunately, is the victim. Okay, so in Arabic, the victim, right? Bilal is being used as the victim now. So that tells us, so the victim in Arabic is never marfu. That's not default. Bilal minding his own business. This guy come along, not him person, this guy comes along, and what does he do? Darabahu. He hit him. Right? He's the victim now. So in Arabic, the victim shifts. So we're not just taking Bilal out of the gate or any word with that concept. The victim. That word now has to be mansub with fatha.
Okay. So I know that this is in reference to the hitting, so you're saying victim, but does this apply to the receiver of
That's
any
it.
action?
Yeah, any action.
Okay.
Right? So so let's say look, watch it. So then if we change this verb to akala, what's the man akala?
Eat to
To eat. So then we would say Ali akala aliyun. Translate.
Ali ate.
And then if we say tufaha what?
The
Tufaha.
jad.
The jad what?
The jad and no.
The jad. That's it. The jad.
Jan.
Right? Because the recipient, the victim, right, has to be what vowel with fata.
Oh, okay.
You understand? So it doesn't matter what the verb is. It's the right. Right. So it doesn't matter what the verb is. You just apply the same concept.
Okay.
Right. In this case, with darabah, we would say victim. Qatala would say the victim, right? But if it was another verb, you may use another word. But the concept, so the recipient, who received, who got hit, that's always with fata.
Okay.
Who received the action. Okay? Who received the action is always with fata in Arabic. Okay? So now we know one reason why we would make something, if it comes out the gate, marfu, but now why we would change it.
Change. Okay.
Okay? All right? Right, Habiba? Understand that? Right? So we understand. That's across the board. So when you talking or reading, listening, that's what you listen for. You listen for i'rab. You listen for when it changes from rough to nasb to jar to jazm. That's how you know who the cause is, what's beginning, who's the recipient. That's what you're listening for.
Okay.
That's why the meaning of the word is secondary. Because if you don't know who doing these things, we can easily feel, okay, this is why we get these translations. It's easy to translate something, but if you want to understand what you're hearing, what you're reading, and this is what you look for. Okay, Habiba? All right, so, Daraba Aliyun, right? Bilalan, Mal Asif, unfortunately, right? Unfortunately. Mal Asif. Mal Asif. Ma'a.
Asif.
Ma'a.
Oh,
Al Asif. Asif. Unfortunately. In other words, with regret.
Because ma'a is with.
Ma'a al Asif. Ma'a.
Yeah.
Al Asif. Unfortunately. Like Asif is another word we say I'm sorry.
Yeah,
We say,
sorry,
but we say Mal Asif.
Okay.
Ma'al asaf is an expression. We say this is how you say unfortunately. We don't want him to be hitting on nobody. Right? That's not a good thing for Ali to be hitting on, but no, we think he is. Right? So we say ma'al asaf, unfortunately.
You didn't want to pay.
There you go. Okay? Ma'al asaf, okay? All right? So we got that, right? So look. We know why we would use rough. Why we make something dhamma? We have two reasons. We have one reason why we would make something mansub now, right? So you remember as a student, you always ask yourself, how is this this thing being used? If it's the recipient, it has to be mansub. It can't stay marfu, although by itself isolated is marfu. But once I use it like this, if I wanted to say, I read the book. How do we say I read?
Ikra.
I read. Past tense verb. Now always think the time of the verb. I read. I read. Qara'tu.
Oh,
Qara'tu.
Right? Qara'tu. If I want to say I am reading. Aqra'u.
Aqra.
All right? Let's go. Let's get it. Come on. I want you to see it. I want to see it. You see it? You don't see it yet? Past tense. If I say I read.
Oh, akra. What is the last part? Akra'u.
Akra, right? Because the present tense verb is by default marfu. It comes out the gate marfu always. The present tense verb. But
Right.
past tense,
Oh,
right? We say
Right.
qara'tu, right? I read. Now the thing that you read is the recipient.
Okay.
What thing is that? It can be anything. It could be a newspaper. What else do you read? It could be anything. I mean, it's not limited to just a book. We only use that because That's the scope of our vocabulary, right? I mean, think. It could be. It's not just a book that we can read.
Letters.
Right? It's not just a book. Okay. Right. It can be a magazine. Right. It can be the instructions, the directions, a map. There's a letter. It can be a lot of things that we can read. The point I want you is that whatever it is that you read, or what is being read, is the recipient.
Well, can you call it the object of the verb?
Yeah, but I don't want to call it. I don't want to attach a term to it though. Concepts is what I'm concerned about right now. Concept. What you call it, I don't give a damn what you call it. I'm being honest. That to me is why I'm not talking about why the people still keep. I mean, you've been learning these terms for how many years? I mean, honestly, think about it. And it still don't make you no closer to speaking Arabic or understands because you don't understand the concept. What do we care what we call this called? What do it do is what's important. What a car does, I don't care about the parts in a car long as it gets me from point A to point B. That's what my concern. If I want to learn the parts of the car, then I go become a mechanic. And then it enhances my ability to drive. But being able to drive that car, I don't have to know the part other than the major components of a car. The main details, I don't need to know. Just how to turn that car, how to turn the key. Right? And hopefully that key starts the starter and do all that other stuff. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. Sometimes I be at work. Sometimes I have to give people internet. Mm-hmm. And I may come across a customer who, he's a network specialist. Mm-hmm. Putting internet and get it on your laptop or tablet is easy. But because they so way up there in Greek, what Greek numbers are, alpha this and beta that, they make it a complicated thing. Just turn the daggone computer, put the daggone wireless key and you're done. They want to, what's the Mac ID? I don't give a damn what all that stuff is. And why does it matter to you what that is? They make it more complicated than it. And that's the same I'm saying what we do now. Mm. The concept is what's important. I mean, you heard me say this before. It's the concepts. Don't worry about the names. If it was important, when it's important, this is
just like you did with the third person, second person, first person. You told us that a long time ago. The concept of it, you just told us last week what the names are.
It's not important. If it was important, I mean, it would be worth, but it's not. The name of what we call it is those things. What we call something is important, but in its time. Right now, you have to learn when do I use it. Right? When do I use it? So I don't want. If we tell you we don't want you to put yourself in a pigeonhole or pinch yourself into a corner. If you take a word and you want this word to represent, like, I read the book. All right, we don't want to use the word book. We're going to use the word magazine. I read the magazine. I don't want to use the word magazine. I want to use, I read the list. I read the directory. Whatever it is. That word, how is that word being used? It's being used as the object. As she said, the object. Okay, we use that word then. I don't care what word we call it, but what are you doing? What's the effect of this word? This word is being used as the recipient. It's the action. It's the recipient. It's the end result of something. What was read? Who was hit? Who got hit? Whatever. What was eaten? That's the end result. So when you have a verb and you have an end result, that word in Arabic must be go to mansub now. You can't keep it rough. That's the point now. Okay? That's the point. So if we said, I read the book. Qara'tu al-kitab. What?
Ban.
El-kitab. El-kitab. Ban. Right?
El-kitab.
Right? Coming out of the gate is el-kitabu. But because I have it now with the verb, and I can't, there's no way on Allah's earth can we say qara'tu. Listen, there's no way we can say qara'a allocated